You've come to fight as 3 men. And 3 men you are. What will you do without freedom?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Godly Potential YouTube channel, where the motto is freedom above all else. This is going to be the next episode in the Mind, Body, and Soul series. Diving right into it. This episode is about disappointment and the different forms of disappointment and how to move around, maneuver, how to deal with these disappointments. So as I go, I'm going to explain the type of disappointments and how to deal with them, because there's more than 1 or 2 forms of disappointment. So, one form of disappointment that we deal with is disappointment within people that we shouldn't hold in high regard, or strangers. For example, let's say you're going somewhere, you're going to a building and you're holding a door for people to walk in. Once you do that, the person doesn't say thank you. And you feel like that's rude and you get disappointed because you would have said thank you, or somebody else would have said thank you, or just acknowledge you for thank you for holding the door. So how do we deal with this type of disappointment? I mean, that's one small, minute example, but you can apply it to other situations. It's oftentimes, too, people get disappointed in this when they got road rage because somebody will cut them off and they're like, oh, how inconsiderate, and just go down a fucking spiral of disappointment. Anyway, how do you deal with this? You deal with this form of disappointment by lowering your standard for that person or for people that you don't really know. See, the problem is we expect these people that we don't or shouldn't hold in high regard. We expect them to act as if it's somebody that we know and deserves that high regard. So explaining more. We have friends, family, and loved ones, people that are close to us, that act a certain way, and we respect that. Pretty much all of our friends, you can say, act in the same and similar fashion. If we open the door for any of our friends, they will say thank you. So the problem is we're putting those same expectations on people that we do not know. So once we hold the door open for a stranger and they don't say thank you, we get disappointed because, like, really? You're supposed to say thank you. This is a kind gesture I just performed. Whatever. That's the problem. You can't hold strangers, people you don't really know, in such high regard, because you will be disappointed very often. So, how do you deal with people? How do you deal with strangers that disappoint you? Stop holding them in such high regard. Lower the standard for them. Moving on. How to deal with disappointment from people that we do and should hold in high regard, like our family, friends, and loved ones. Okay. So me growing up, I don't know if that came out right. So let me start over. For me, growing up, I was let down quite a few times. I'm not gonna say by who, but it's from people that I held in high regard. And the way I dealt with this was when it was someone that continually kept disappointing me, kept going back on their word, kept failing to fulfill their promises. Eventually, I lowered that standard for them. And pretty much I just stopped trusting them when it came time to delivering on certain things and promises. So when you're dealing with people that you hold in high regard and disappointment, if it's a trend, if they're constantly disappointing you, lower the standard. Pretty much expect them to disappoint you. So when they don't disappoint you, it's a pleasant surprise. But when they do, like, yeah, I seen it coming, I kind of knew it. But when it comes to people that are normally or typically fulfilling their promises and they don't do it, and you become disappointed in this, let's say person normally keeps their word, keep their promises, but one time they say, yeah, I will do this for you at this time or this day or as soon as possible, and they never do it. And let's just say it's a rare occurrence. You deal with that type of disappointment by understanding that, look, this is a person that deals with different shit within their lives. And you have to look at it. Okay, on their priority list, this might be super important to me and it needs to get done, but to them, it isn't that important because it doesn't affect them on the same level in which it affects you. I'm not saying it's not important to them, but it's not on the top of the priority list. And they may have something else to do that's more important because it deals with them. So that's how you deal with disappointment from those people. You take a step back and you, okay, this is important to me, but to them it really isn't important. Because if the reversal happened, say you had a lot of shit to do, like say you had to get this done, but then it's a friend or family member that was like, okay, can you do this for me? You're like, look, I'll get to it when I get to it, but it's gonna be after I get this stuff done because I gotta turn this and that in by this specific time. So the last date I have to turn it in, I have to get this done. And so if you look at it from that perspective, you're like, well, look, I had other shit to do that was more important than that. Sorry, you could have got somebody else to do it, or you could have done it yourself, if at all possible. That's how you handle that situation in terms of a disappointment. The next form of disappointment is disappointments within yourself. So when it comes to disappointments within yourself, it's normal along the lines of you did something that you know you shouldn't have done or you shouldn't be doing, and afterwards you feel disappointed in yourself. You're like, man, really? Fuck, I can't believe I did that. That's where disappointment comes from. Now you can look at this one of two ways. You can look at this form of disappointment from the perspective of, okay, this is showing me a weakness that I have. I lack discipline. I need to work on that because the universe is showing me where I fall short. It's giving me these little tests now while they're just light, and I just feel this little disappointment before it keep happening in the future. Something major happens and I end up in a shitty situation. So I need to focus on this right now. And you just do that by working on your discipline. If you need help with discipline, I posted a video not too long ago about entitled How to Stay Disciplined in Everything You Do. You can check out that video if you're lacking in discipline. That's one way. The other way is you can look at it as if in the perspective of, okay, look, I made a mistake. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. It's not. And this next part I'm about to say is going to trickle into the next one. And also you can look at it as if you believe in the theory that everything happens for a reason, then you could go with this, okay, it doesn't make sense to me right now. I'm disappointed right now, but in the future, it will all make sense. I will see exactly why this happened the way it did, why I chose that decision. Even though right now I'm disappointed within myself, it will make sense in the future because in the future, you can use that to help other people. You can use your mistakes to help others because your experiences aren't just for you. You see what I'm saying? And that is the other way you can look at disappointment within yourself. Now, disappointment within circumstances, situations, or results. Let's say you got a test coming up. Say you're in school and you studied hard. Like, you didn't wait till the last minute. You were studying in advance, weeks, days in advance, and you're studying. You did pretty much everything that you could do possibly. You take the test, get the results back, and it's not what you would have wished for. So you're disappointed in that outcome. How do you deal with this? Just like I just mentioned in the previous example, look at it as if everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why you got the score you did. There's a reason why you took this test to become a lawyer. I think it's called the bar exam. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too lawyer savvy or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but you can look at it as, okay, I didn't score that good on this. I didn't score that high, so I won't be eligible to get in these schools. Maybe it's because you're not meant to be a lawyer, you know? Or it's not the right time for you to be going into that endeavor. You see? Maybe it's, say you want to get in the military, you take the ASVAB, you score lower than you would have wanted because let's say you want to get a job that's high up there on the list. Some I don't know, some job that's high on the list, and you don't score as high as you wanted to, and so you wanted this job, but now you score lower, so you like stuck with like this amount of jobs from like here to there, and you can choose between those jobs, and one just stands out to you, even though that's not initially what you wanted. But if you take that job, let's say you take that job and you just absolutely love it, and then you look back like, fuck, I wanted to be this fucking job. I'm just sitting in the office, but I'm actually out here, boots on the ground, like I'm actually enjoying this or whatever it is. So that's how you deal with disappointment in terms of situations and outcomes. If you gave it your all, you did everything you possibly could. If you didn't do everything you possibly could, it goes back to discipline. So get you some more discipline. But if you did everything you possibly could and you still didn't get the desired result, then you look at it as if, hey, everything happens for a reason. It might not make sense right here at this moment, but it will in the future. And then your older self will look back on that moment and be like, thank you. I couldn't even see myself in that fucking job. You see what I'm saying? So that is how you deal with the different forms of disappointment. Disappointment within people you don't really know, you shouldn't hold in high regard, but you do. Disappointment that you have when dealing with loved ones, friends, family members that you should hold in high regard. That's how you deal with disappointment within yourself. That's how you deal with disappointment within situations, outcomes, circumstances. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you liked it, if it is helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it if you feel like this can help someone else. Subscribe for more. Stay tuned for the next Mind, Body, and Soul series. Yeah, that's all. Remember, freedom above all else. Peace.
You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. do without freedom?